Hello lovelies, hello lovely friends, I hope that you are well. Welcome, this is Nicole. Just setting up my little station here because I forgot my tripod. And as you can see, I'm in a different location again. And so I'm just setting up. This is Nicole of NicoleMLouis.com and creator of the Independent Social Workers Launchpad and this lovely community, the Independent Social Workers Exclusive Club. I hope that you're all well. I hope your weekend has been brilliant. Can you believe the weekend's practically over already? Yes, it's over. But the good thing about the weekend ending is that it gets to happen all over again in just a few days. And the days will go by quickly. Yeah, I hope that you've had a brilliant day today. So if this is your first time catching me live, I'm Nicole. I'm an independent social worker and I'm also a strategy mentor for social workers who want to be independent. And what that means is I take them through the blueprint of moving their career forward in social work, basically moving from overwhelm, a lack of clarity and burnout to being really clear about what they want to do, loving Mondays again, and yeah, just enjoying their life again, having real work-life balance. So I'm in this community and you're able to post questions, ask me any questions. I have a networking event for social workers that's going to be happening on the 24th of September, and it's going to be a special edition where for members that attend I'm going to be answering their questions live, their particular questions that they have about what they need to do and move forward in their business. And that's something that usually I would do via consultation. So it's going to be an amazing opportunity for those that attend. Today I've jumped on because the live today is talking about, are you trading time for money? So let's think about this. First of all, what's a trade? A trade is meant to be something where it's an exchange, an equal and a fair exchange, right? If it's done ethically, of course. So that's what a trade is. And it's about doing business. It's a transaction. It's about something where it's mutually beneficial for both parties involved, okay? And when we think about time, time is obviously, you know, what kind of value do you put on time? Yeah? You think about time that you spend with your family, time that you spend to travel, time that it spends for you undertaking a task or getting a task done. You know, these are things that we pay for, right? Especially people in business, you know, we have members of staff that we can delegate to because the time that it might take us to do something, even though we can do it, those are things that are what's called the pebbles or the sand in our business, and those are not necessarily things that we want to be taking on at this time. It's not going to be the best use of our time. It's far better that we delegate that out so we can focus on the rocks in our business, the things that are really going to drive business forward. And so yourselves as social workers, within your teams, you'll have administrative staff, and there's lots of things that you can do, such as uploading documentation that you get come through the post for your clients onto the system, copy and pasting stuff, doing genograms, creating chronologies. All these things are quite time consuming and they're really important. But actually you might have family support workers and administrative staff that you can delegate those things to. So you can focus on the bigger things like the care planning for children, or, you know, writing up that risk assessment for the older person. That's where your time really needs to be. And so the trade-off in business is where you might pay somebody and delegate those kind of things so that your time is freed up. That's how valuable time is. When you think about spending time with your family and your loved ones or your partner, or being able to go out and network and spend time with friends, go and experience wonderful things in the community, or create wonderful things. You might have a side business that you do on top of your social work that's nothing related to social work, and you love spending time doing that. And so you ensure that you carve out time in your day, in your week, to make sure that you are allowing yourself the time that you need to get those things done. And that's important to you. And so you ensure that you give up certain things to allow you the time to do that. So that's what we think about when we think about time. And in terms of money, okay, money is the big one, right? We do things and we work crazy hours sometimes. I know I have crazy hours, long hours, unsociable hours. People even work unsociable hours all through the night because it earns them more money. They work at, on times where they should be spending with their loved ones, like on bank holidays, or like I said, at weekends when nobody else would want to work, but they get paid time and a half. So that's their full hourly wage plus an additional half of their wage. And they do that so that they can get money. And they feel that that's a fair trade-off, that they can sacrifice that time that would ordinarily be secluded and exclusive to families and friends and for their own personal development in exchange for money, because that's what's important for them for whatever reason at that time. So when we think about trading time for money, what we're talking about is an exchange of our time that is really valuable because it's time that we're able to use to pour into ourselves and others and our relationships and our friendships, in exchange for money that we get coming in so that we can pay the bills, so that we can go on holiday, so that we can save and maybe plug into that, side business that we have that we're working on. Whatever it is, we see it as an important trade. And I guess as social workers who are wanting to be independent, I guess what I want you to be thinking about is, how are you currently trading time for money, and is it beneficial? Is it helping you move forward in the business that you want to do as a social worker? Is it allowing you the time that you really need to commit to yourself and your family and those that you're going to be serving to be able to progress in that business? So I guess a good way of looking at it initially is, what time do you actually have? I know that I've done a live before where I spoke about how you can be productive and how you can carve out specific hours depending on where you are in your journey as an independent, to start creating and mapping out and taking action, to be able to get your business forward and move it forward. But I want you to think right now, how much time do you actually have? Make a list of what time you spend doing what. So how much hours do you spend every day or in a week? You can do it in a week, actually doing your actual business, your actual work. So if you're a social worker and you work for a local authority, for a school, I want you to actually write a list of the amount of hours, tot it up and be really honest. You might be scheduled to do 36 hours or 37 hours a week, but how much do you actually do? And I'd like you to also do the same for the amount of time you spend on travel. How much time are you spending traveling, commuting to and from your place of work? You don't have to include the time that you're maybe going to see clients, because that's already encompassed within your core hours. But the time that it's taking you to commute from your home to the actual workplace. Then I want you to write down how much sleep you get for a week in total. Do the same for the amount of time that you spend with friends, the amount of time that you spend with your partner, the amount of time that you spend with your family, other family members, yeah? And that includes your children, okay? And really have a look at that and look at the balance and look at, how balanced is it? How much time am I actually spending? Where is there time within all of those hours for me to be able to say, I've actually got time to work on my business, to work on myself, do my own stuff. You might want to also include a list of the amount of time that you're actually spending to pamper yourself and just relax and do nothing, or read a book or go to the gym. That would be under leisure. So how much leisure time do you get in a total week? And I want you to look at the hours and really consider, how many hours you're actually utilizing in a week, and where do your hours go? What is your trade-off at the moment, and would you say it's mutually beneficial? That's the question that you've got to ask yourself. Is it a real fair trade-off for the amount of hours that you put in as a social worker, doing what you're doing, or the hard work that you're doing, the caseloads, the making sure that your notes are up to date on the system, getting through that to-do list, seeing families, all that work that you're doing. Is it a fair trade-off? Is it the trade-off that you expected when you first went into social work? And as time has gone on, when you've tried to balance it out and change ways to the way that you work, has that actually afforded you more time? Has it given you more time? Has it really saved time? And if it has, has that time been filled? Has your managers or yourself even found a way to fill that time with other things? Because that's what generally happens, isn't it? We say, okay, great, we've got more time, we can be at work, and now we have mobile phones that we're given where we can actually access our emails, where we can still access maybe our case notes, and we write case notes up in between visits so that we can be more productive and faster, right, and save time. But how much time are we actually still having in reserve to be able to fulfill other passions and spend more time on ourselves and what we're actually interested in doing? So for those of you in this community or those watching on the replay who are interested in independent social work, how much of that time that you have saved or that you have free in your week, how much time are you allotting to actually becoming independent? Whether that's sitting and thinking and reflecting, whether it's making a list, whether it's actually taking action on your list, whether it's creating content, creating a website, hiring staff, starting to speak with people and network. What things are you actually doing to move your business forward and to really take action so that your dream becomes a reality? I want you to think about how you're going to trade time for money differently and how you can start benefiting far more from time that you have. We've got loads of hours in a week, and it can be hard to track where our time goes. We say that the week passes so fast, and sometimes we can look back and think, what have I actually produced? What have I actually achieved? Apart from lots of work at my job, my main job, but what about for yourself? What about for your family? What about for your loved one, your children, your community? These are things that we need to start thinking about so that we can become more productive. And I know that that's something that I had to really think about, even when I first became independent, because you might recall in some of my other lives, I was talking about the fact, a lot of social workers are quite institutionalized, and I was also in one way of doing things. And I had to think really carefully about how I was using my time. I had to think carefully about how I was doing things and where was it being more productive, trying to market myself and spend it. And I quickly learned that I had to spend time focusing on the people that were coming to me that wanted business, who was not who I thought it was going to be. So I very quickly abandoned what I thought I was going to do and just jumped on the bandwagon of people that were coming to me that wanted my service, and I was serving them and being creative. And it got me in a really creative mode of thinking, okay, well, what else can I do that is not on my agenda, and being adaptable. So I know for many of you, you're going to be thinking about, the fact that being a qualified social worker and being employed and not self-employed is really safe. It's really safe because, you really do want to ensure that you are providing for your families. You want to ensure that you're getting money coming in every month and that you're not going to struggle. Some of the things that might be keeping you up at night is, things like, will people buy from me? Will they buy my service? Will they be interested? Not earning enough consistently, and how will that affect my family and even myself? Thinking that you don't maybe have the knowledge or skills to start your own business, because being a social worker is great. We can do that with our eyes closed, but actually running a business and being a social worker is two different things. And I learned that. Learning business while you're doing the work was crazy. I found that crazy because I didn't know what I was doing. And for some of you, you may have it really easy because you will have partners who run their own business. You will have family members who run their own business and can give you tips. But again, it's carving out a business in the way that's current and that works for you with your industry, and that's outside of the conventional way of doing business. So I've found that I've really learned that, doing things in an unconventional way and being really different. And I speak to other business owners, and I've got family members who run their own business, but again, they do things in a certain way. And it's like, that's not how I want to do it. So I'm not, and it's working for me, which is great. So some of the other things that might keep you up at night as well, if I go into business for myself and it doesn't work, then I've got to go start from scratch and go back into employment, and that's just not something I want to do. You might be worrying about not having enough support to go the distance. You might worry about, not succeeding, that reinforcing your initial thoughts. All those are things that are covered. I've done live videos on them, and I've also going to be going deeper on them in the course that has been done and created, that's launching in a few weeks' time. Excited. So yeah, these are all things that are going to be, we're going to be diving deep on, and you're going to get the step-by-step help, so that's not going to be an issue. And the beauty of it, and I always say this, I wish I had a course when I was starting to go independent that I could plug into and do, but I didn't, and that's what really propelled me and motivated me to create this course for you guys. Because I know how hard it can be without having the steering in the direction and what to do first, next, after, and so on. And this course provides you that. And it's a really step-by-step where it's drip-fed and you get all the information. The beauty of it is that you don't have to just leave your job and then do the course. You do the course while you're working, and you set yourself a date as to when you're going to start your own business and launch it, and you can launch it and still be employed for a little bit if you like. I always encourage people just to go for it, because you'll hold on to the apron strings forever, or at least commit you to having an actual date that you end and that you actually go live. There are people that have done it. There are people within this community that have done it, that are independent, and they're doing great. And so it can be done, and there's no reason why you can't have that too. So I want you to think about how you're trading time for money, and I want you to reevaluate that. And I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's live. Speak to you soon. If you've got any questions or comments, please put them in the comments below. If you've got any questions outside of this topic, please do go ahead and create a post or DM me, and I can get something sorted. I can do a live on it for you. And what else? There's something else I was going to say and it slipped my mind. There are a few other topics that I'm doing. Obviously, Tuesday is your tutorial day, and every other day outside of that during the week is where we're going to just be talking in general about certain things, which are kind of like mini tutorials, and helpful and things for you to do, a bit like today. So today happened because it was meant to be on Friday, and I was traveling to where I am now and wasn't able to go live because I was still on the coach, basically. So it would have been a bit weird doing this on the coach. So yeah, it would be good for you to attend and just click whether you're going to be attending the lives. And if you can't, please catch it on the replay and engage. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Bye.